Rob, a big few days ahead, 2 crucial qualifiers to come in this campaign. But what have the last few days been like? A nice camp out in Portugal as well?
Yeah, excellent. The application of the lads, again, I can't fault. They've been first class. You know, Nick's come in, it's only his second camp with us. And he keeps saying daily, you know, how good the lads are. And he doesn't have to push them that hard, put it that way, because they're willing, they just want to go out and work. And that's a great sign. So we've had a great few days. We've mixed it up. We've been away. We've come back now, back to the Vale, back to camp. And we've had 6 or 7 good sessions on grass.
In terms of the preparation, are the June games a little bit trickier? Are they a bit more of a lottery? Because, of course, you've got players that haven't played football for a couple of weeks. You've got players like Ethan who's playing just on Sunday. Does that make it a little bit trickier to prepare? Yeah,
it does for nations like ourselves as well, because we haven't got, you know, 26 players coming in that have played in the Premiership, so we all know when they're all going to finish at one time. And Ethan's abroad, and Aaron's been abroad. We've got Championship players. We've got, you know, a mix of Premiership players. So the complexities around that is quite difficult. But when you've got good staff as well, and the planning and the detail that goes into it, then we try to give ourselves the best chance as a leveler then, so going into the games that everybody's up to speed and on the same level going into the games. And so far, so good.
Mentally as well, I guess you're dealing with players that have had very mixed seasons. You know, you've got players that have just been promoted, players that have just been relegated. How do you manage that?
Well, as soon as they come on camp, this is their home. And, you know, I've had a chat with Ethan, I've had a chat with Brennan, and, you know, opposite ends, but they're all in a great place. The minute they walk through this door, it's like coming home. And that's what we say to the players, the first meeting: welcome home, welcome back. And yeah, it's a different environment, isn't it? You know, it's great to be back. Even from the coaches, you know, they can't wait to meet up as well, so it's a great feel.
Nice to welcome some faces back as well, but most notably David Brooks, of course. How has he settled back into things? Yeah, really well. Obviously, we've got to be sympathetic, and now we push him. We've got to be realistic. He's not going to start 2 games for us off the back of what he's been through, but just to get him involved back with the lads, watching him train every day has been incredible. And he was part of the opening meeting for myself as well. You know, people that we brought back in, welcome back messages to have Ian Mitchell back involved with us is great. And the other one was Brooksy, and I said it epitomises what we stand for as a nation, what I want my teams to represent, to look like. You know, that drive and commitment that he had to get through what he's been through. He's a credit to himself and his family, he really is. We spoke with Jordan James yesterday, and I've got to say he said some really lovely things about just how much it means to him to be involved with the senior squad. And when you look at the landscape of international football, there are very few friendlies nowadays, of course. So how important and how pleasing is it to see your young players take these opportunities when they're given them? Absolutely, and next season's going to be big for JJ now. You know, we would have wanted him to have played more minutes last season. We probably think he's capable of playing at that level, absolutely. He wouldn't be with us if we didn't think so. We've seen potential in him, and he's one that I've got high hopes for, but we have to manage that now again, his development, along with Luke Harris, along with some of the other young ones we've got in the squad. But he's done really well up to now. He's done really well. He deserves the opportunity. He's earned the right to be a part of this squad. We've evolved since the World Cup. I think you've seen the intent we showed in March, and the starting 11's probably not a lot different outside of Gareth and Joe and Johnny and Chris Gunter, and it's not a lot different, but the bench now looks completely different with the youth we've got. And when you've got people like Nathan Broadhead coming on and having a massive impact like he did in Croatia, bodes well for the competition in the squad. Looking back at the campaign so far, Rob, there's been, of course, a lot of positivity, 4 points from the first 2 games. I wanted to know, perhaps, what have you not been happy with, or what improvements do you want to see over these next 2 games? Yeah, I think we've changed our shape again. I think, you know, our principles will stay the same. You know, how we want to play. We want to be attack-minded, of course. We want to entertain. We want to. You know, we're greedy as managers and players. We want to keep clean sheets. We want to score goals. That's a given. That's an obvious one. Our identity is we've slightly evolved it again back to the shape that got us the success a couple of years ago. For me, being really picky now, I want us to create more chances, more opportunities. So, as good as the performance was against Latvia, and I was really impressed with it. I think it was the highest percentage of possession that we'd had in the last 5 years. It was 70-30. And it's not going to be quite like that on Friday evening. I think there'll be tougher opposition.
But I think when we have that amount of possession, for me now, the final detail, that final pass at the top of the pitch, that running behind, that runs in the box, that's something we've been working on quite a bit this last couple of weeks. And if we can have a slight improvement on that, then I think we'll become even better.
Armenia and Turkey to come. How much of an opportunity is this to really gain control of your position in the group?
Well, it is. It's in our control, and having Mitch back involved. The subtle messages we've been drip feeding into him throughout the camp now is that it's in our hands. You know, Croatia don't play this window. It's in our control. We could potentially, at the end of these two games, be top of the group. What more of an incentive do you need for that? You know, so we're up against tough opposition. There's no doubt about that. There's no easy games today, and you know, Armenia will pose a threat. They'll be a more difficult opposition, I'd imagine, than Latvia. And it's sort of the fixtures reversed this time, isn't it? We haven't got Croatia and Latvia. We've now got Armenia and then Turkey. So full focus is on Friday's game, Sinead, and we're all in it to get the 3 points and give a disciplined performance, knowing then that we've got a tough away game.
Armenia are unfamiliar opponents, but their manager, Alexander Petrikov, he was the man in the dugout for Ukraine on that very special night, so he'll be familiar with Wales. Just over a year ago, we were talking about it the other day. Incredible. He will be familiar with Wales. It's a different outfit now than what we had, the starting 11 that played against them. He'll know what we're all about. So he'll have a plan, of course he will, and we'll have to respect that. We absolutely will. But like I've said time and time again, we'll respect the opposition, but we don't, we don't fear anybody. We know we'll potentially could have the lion's share of possession, and it's how we use that and what we do with it that will create chances for us to win this again. And like you've said, a win on Friday, that would set you up pretty nicely for what's fair to say is going to be a very tough test out in Turkey. Yeah, different test again, but our benchmark now, our reference is Croatia, to go to Split with a crowd that we faced, with a team, an opposition that we faced, the third best in the world. To go and give that level of performance to get the result that we got, that's our benchmark now, that's our reference that we always go back to. So I think if you've done that there, if we can guarantee those levels of performance, the result should take care of itself.